Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PD by the Pool on this July morning. I hope you guys are doing well. Then we are going to get started. And remember, I said this is an interactive session, so we're going to jump right into FlipGrid to begin with. Take a breath. Those of you that have never used it before, what I'm going to ask you to do right now is pretty simple. You will notice that I want you to introduce yourself to us. So there is a link. Whoops. On this slide that says click this link. So if all of you will click that link, it's going to open up a page that looks like this. It says FlipGrid at the top, and it's telling you that it's my demo for you and how are you going to log in. So we love Google, and we love Google single sign-on. So anytime you see the G or log in with Google, you're going to click that. So if you guys will click log in with Google, choose your Gaston County Google account, and you will be logged into my FlipGrid. So this is a topic that I have created, and this will make more sense in just a few minutes, but I do want you guys to go ahead and get your feet wet with it. So I have created an introduction for you guys to introduce yourselves to us. And guys, this is part of your artifact, so I need you to do this part. So the instructions are, just tell us briefly about yourself, basically your name, where and what you teach, and if you've got another interesting fact you want to share in 30 seconds or less, you can do that. And as I scroll down, you'll notice that Christy and I have already responded to give you an idea of what it looks like. But you guys are going to click on the plus, the green plus, it says tap to record, and you are going to record your video. So you'll click the tap to record, and then when you are ready to talk, name, who you are and where you teach, you click this red button and you record your video. So I'm going to be quiet so I'm not on your video and let you guys do that. All right, I'm seeing some responses pop into our FlipGrid. Again, oh, somebody's kids are photo bombing. Awesome. Again, if you're still working on it or just joining us, you guys are clicking the big green plus and you're recording your introduction video. It's who you are, where you teach, and a quick fact about you. And once again, this is part of your artifact for your DLC credit. Pretty easy, hopefully. All right, guys, give you just a couple of more seconds to finish up your videos. Again, it's click the green plus, click the red button, record who you are, where you teach, and if you want to add a quick fact about yourself, you can do that. And then you will get to the point where you click submit. We have some other choices in there, and we'll talk about more of those later. So while I'm on this page, I do want to click on a video. So I'm going to play Christy's in mine so I don't embarrass anybody else. And then Christy's.
On Chair of Elementary being Costner and Lingerfeld. An interesting fact about me is I have a degree in physical education.
All right. All right, so that gives you an idea of kind of what it looks like. We'll come back to that in just a few minutes. I'm going to go back to my presentation. Again, if you guys have any questions, if you will put it in chat, and Christy's monitoring that chat, and of course you guys can help each other. So let's go to a poll. You guys are enjoying your summer vacation, while some of us are having to work 4 10-hour days. So I'm curious, what are you doing this summer? What's your favorite thing about your summer vacation? So this is a poll I want you guys to complete. If again, you will click where it says click here. You're going to open up a tool called Answer Garden. This is a free tool that you just post questions and people answer, and it will automatically create a word cloud. So if you guys will type, what is your favorite thing about summer? Like going to the beach, sleeping in, TV binging, whatever. I'm curious what you guys have been up to this summer. Oh, traveling. Pool vacations. Lazy days, love it. So you'll notice now when more people start replying the same thing. The words get bigger, just like in a typical word cloud. So far we've got one person saying sleeping in, traveling, pool, so forth, but 2 people have selected reading, traveling, and baseball. Sounds like you guys are refreshing and enjoying yourselves this summer. 3 people are reading. So I have soulmates out among you. It's what I enjoy doing most too. All right, moving right along. Let's talk about our focus and purpose for our session today. And as I mentioned earlier, we're looking at a tool called FlipGrid, and you've gotten a kind of a sneak preview of it. So our focus is to discover how easy this tool is to use and to show you how you can capture your student voice. Even those students that are shy, this gives them a platform that they are able to talk in your classroom. So one more poll. See, I told you guys this is interactive. I'm curious where you're sitting as far as using FlipGrid. So the choices are you're new to FlipGrid, you're comfortable because you've used it some, or you are a power user. So I am launching a poll, and I just noticed that I didn't change so bear with me. It says book creator, but just pretend that instead of book creator, it says FlipGrid. How are you new to FlipGrid instead of book creator? Click new. If you're comfortable, click comfortable. And if you're a power user, choose power user. Okay, it looks like so far 100% of you are brand new to FlipGrid. That's awesome. That tells me where I need to go and how I need to run the session. Still waiting on just a couple more people to answer that poll. We're still at 100% with new. And we're still at 100% new. So awesome. I'm going to end that poll. Thank you guys for participating in that. So what is FlipGrid? What is all this about? Well, it is a video discussion platform that allows you as a teacher to post a question or a prompt, and your students, whether they're pre-K all the way up to 12th grade, can respond by posting videos back to you. It's short videos, it's authentic, and they can also reply to each other's videos. So basically, FlipGrid is a platform that allows you to create a digital community among your learners, and even beyond your classroom walls. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we go too. I love FlipGrid's mission. They say that their mission is to empower learners of all ages to define their voices, share their voices, and respect the diverse voices of others. And between them and the awesome educators that use it, that's how it happens. So what are the benefits of using FlipGrid? Well, first of all, it's what we call an evergreen tool. What do we mean by that? What we mean is that the tool can be used for a wide range of content areas, a wide range of students. It's not narrow and focused just on one thing. It's not like a sit and get kind of thing that you do on the computer. It allows you to create across all kinds of platforms, all kinds of content area. As I mentioned, content grade level, it's easy and it is 100% free. There is no premium versions, no freemium versions. It's 100% free for all teachers. There are video options available. You guys experienced one of those this morning when you were doing the introduction for me. You can video right within FlipGrid. You can capture that video. You could have paused your recording and then you could have continued recording. So it doesn't have to be a one take on that. You can even trim the videos once you finish them. If you have some yuck at the bottom or at the end, you can trim that off. You as a teacher set the time restraints for how long the students can respond, from 15 seconds up to 5 minutes. And we know sometimes kids really love to be on video, so they may go the whole time. So keep that in mind. But it also includes options for the students to use little virtual sticky notes to put their thoughts on the screen that no one else can see but them while they're recording. So it makes it really, really easy for students to use. So enough talking about it. I think the best way to learn how to do it is to actually do it. So let's do it. And again, we're going to follow this model. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you the steps. We can do it together, and then you will be able to do it on your own. That is our gradual release model, one that I firmly believe in. So that's the one that we're going to use today. So the first thing you guys need to do is to create an account. Now, when I had you sign in, or not really sign in, but go and answer the introduction earlier, you didn't have to sign in. You clicked the link, you went straight to my post, you were able to post your video. But I want you to actually sign in as an educator. So click the link where it says flipgrid.com, or open another tab or go to your second device and type in www.flipgrid.com. That link has also been posted in the chat window. Once you get there, there are two tabs. Hold on a second. I got to get this closed down. I got too many windows open over here. Once you get there, there are two tabs. Make sure you guys are on the Educators tab. Sign up as an educator and use your Google. Please let us know if you've got any questions once you get there. All right. This is where assumption comes in. I cannot see your screen, so I'm assuming that you are there. I don't see anything in chat that anyone's having issues. So I'm going to keep going unless I hear somebody say differently or you post in your chat differently. So you should have landed, once you created your educator account, on the tab that says activity. And your activity is not going to show anything because all of you told me that you were new to FlipGrid, that you've never created one before. So this screen for you will be blank. You will notice on my screen that I have created grids, I've got topics, I've got videos that's been created, the number of videos that's done this week, and total views. So this gives me an overview or a snapshot of all of the activity that's happening within my FlipGrid communities. But you guys don't have a FlipGrid yet. So I want to show you how easy it is to create one. And we're going to I'm going to do and you do so we can do it together. So in the top right-hand corner, you guys should see a blue button that says plus new grid. So that's to create a new grid. Let me explain what a grid is as you're getting ready to click that button. A grid acts as a holder or a community around topics, and you can put topics inside of a grid. So before I create a new grid, I'm going to go to mine and show you what I'm talking about. So you'll notice that I have two grids that I have created. One I've called Thomason Demo, which you guys experienced one topic out of that demo this morning when you introduced yourselves. You'll see underneath the title of Thomason Demo, it actually has 5 topics in there and 27 videos have been posted to those 5 topics. My second grid is titled Pinnacle Flip Punt Challenge. You'll notice that one has 15 topics and 189 videos posted. So those are grids, and you can have one grid and host everything under it, or you can have multiple grids. So you may want a grid, for example, for ELA. You may want a grid if you're high school for period 1. You may want a grid according to a special project that you're working on. It just depends on how you want to organize things in your classroom. So I'm going to go ahead, and you guys do this with me if you haven't already. Click the plus button where it says new grid. Of course, my screen is just frozen. So then it comes up, well, let's make your grid. So the first thing you have to do is select your community type. And all that does is controls who can see your grid. So click the drop down arrow beside select a grid type. And my recommendation, regardless of what grade level, is you choose school email. Yeah, I know, kindergarten doesn't have email, but they do have a Google account, and it basically is the same thing. So go ahead and click school email, and then you can name your grid. So you'll notice that FlipGrid is giving you an option of what you could name it. Language Arts Hour 1. So that could be Advanced Algebra Period 1 or whatever. So I'm going to type mine as PD by the Pool Example. You can name yours anything you want to, so go ahead and type in your name of your grid. Now, guys, by default, FlipGrid creates its own code for your students to use to join. And basically, that's what you did for me this morning. I hid that link to this code where it said click here for you to sign in this morning. I copied this code. You can actually tweak the grid code if you want to, which I'm choosing not to. But you could backspace that out and you could name it something that fits you. If it's available, you will get the green check. But because I would put this in my Google Classroom or launch it from my Google site that I use with my students, I would not personally change this code. I'm going to click next. And you have to put the @ symbol gaston.k12.nc.us in the box so they know what our school domain is. So that is basically the ending of our Google account. So once you type that in, @ symbol gaston.k12.nc.us, you're going to click Launch My Grid. And then you're going to get a beautiful box that says your grid is ready, and it's going to, by default, give a grid cover. And I'm not going to today show you how to change that, but hint, if you go to your customized grid, you can do that. We're not going to share the grid yet. I'll show you at another point where you can do that. So go ahead and click All Set. All right, so now you'll notice your grid and mine already comes with 2 topics. By default, they're going to have idea topics where you can add ideas. Notice that it's hidden. You see a big red button that says it's hidden. I just leave that alone. I don't mess with that ever. Then it has an introductions. You can use this one. You can tweak it, or you can delete it. So how do you do any of those things? If you will come to the far right-hand side, if you click on the pencil, you can edit the topic. So if you want to keep it as an introduction, you can keep your topic title as an intro. Here is right below the title topic is your video response time. Remember I told you it could be anywhere from 15 seconds to 5 minutes. I gave you guys 30 seconds to do yours today. So you click the drop down arrow and you choose the time limit that you want them to do. So by the way, this just popped into my head, and sometimes when things pop in, I have to share. This would be a great way to do an introduction before your kids show up the first day of school. You could send this to them or have the code there for parent night or whatever, but you could introduce yourself and then have the kids respond back to you as an introduction, and then your kids can meet each other virtually before school starts. It's optional to have a topic tip. If you need to give your learner a hint about something or a tip when they're putting the video responses together, you can add that here. Very seldom do I do that. Topic display date, I just leave it the day I'm creating it, but you can make it display out into the future. So if you're creating this now, say for your introduction for your students, you would probably want to move it sometime in August for it to show up. For our purposes for today, I'm going to leave it for 7/24 for it to pop onto the grid. Then topic description or question. This is required. So you'll remember when you guys went to my FlipGrid this morning, the instructions were typed at the top that said, introduce yourself, tell me your name, where you teach, and a fun fact about you that's under 30 seconds. This is where I type that stuff in. So you can edit this to fit whatever you want it to be. I love how they've already gotten this written out. For today, I'm going to leave it just as it is. So I'll give you a second if you want to make changes to that. All right, section 2 of editing this grid, and it's the same thing if, or not grid, but topic. It's the same thing if you're creating a brand new topic. You have to decide as a teacher, do you want those videos to show up automatically, or do you want to approve them before they become visible to others? So as you get to know your students, you can decide how you want to moderate it, and you can come in and turn this on and off as you need to. Today, in our example that I gave you, I did not moderate it. So as soon as you guys click submit, your video showed up on my grid on the topic. If I had turned on that I have to moderate it, then I would have gotten an email telling me that Laura had issued a response and I need to view it and then check approve. So it's totally up to you guys what you want to do with that. I would err on the side of caution until you get to know your students. So by that, I would turn it on. Section 3, topic status. You can make your topic active. Obviously, if you want your students to be able to do anything with it, it has to be active. Your other choices are frozen. That means it can freeze after a certain time. Your students can go in and see their videos, but they can't add anything to them. Hidden, the students can't see anything at all. Your launch and freeze dates can change. I usually leave mine on never. There's been a couple of times that I did close it down to where it froze on something, so I didn't have people continuously videoing. To do that, you just click, choose your dates. Topic resource, section 4. This is also optional. You'll notice that this has already got a GIF, kind of as a meme or introducing students in. I'm going to delete this resource so you can see what happens when you're doing from scratch. So you'll notice that you can record a video as a resource. You could upload a video. You can add from YouTube. You can upload an image. You can add a GIF, or you can even put an emoji. So in the example that you had this morning, I had a GIF saying hola, hello, all of that in different languages. So if you want to add a GIF, you click add a GIF and you search for a word or a phrase that comes up that would match it. So since I'm doing hello as introductions again, I'm going to choose one. I like this little guy, so I'll click select, and now that resource comes in. It's optional. You do not have to put topic resources in, totally up to you, but you can only put one resource, topic resource in at a time. However, you can put attachments. So if this is for a special project and you have a rubric in your Google Drive that you want to put, you can put the rubric in as a topic attachment. If you're introducing the whole class about something like a high school syllabus possibly, you could put the link to your syllabus. It does need to be somewhere on the web, so of course it would be in your Google Drive and you would just bring in the link. Remember to share that link with, share that document or item with anybody with the link. Section 6 is probably my favorite. I noticed that most of you didn't do this, but you had the option to add stickers and drawings to your video. So you'll notice that Christy and I did. That's when I kind of played ours. I had the snorkel mouse, the mask on. I had the little kitty ears in my ears. We had emojis all around us. You can turn these on and off. They also have the option to draw, so I could have drawn some things on there as well. But as a teacher, you can decide, do you want students to be able to stick those things on or not? So you just click the drop down and make your choice. Video reactions, you can turn this on. Let students do a drop mic for a student that's done really well. They can put emojis on. All of those kinds of things. I had that on yours. Video views lets everybody see how many times their video has been viewed. How else to say that, but other than what it is. Allow students to include an external link. I would do that if I were high school, maybe upper elementary, but I would keep it private. Student-to-student replies, again, you need to, this is a great way to teach students digital responsibility and digital citizenship, but it's totally up to you whether you want your students to reply to one another. You can turn that on and off. And then if your students need to have a video title, you can turn that on and off as well. I'll leave feedback as it is, and then you would click update topic or create topic if this was from scratch. So now my beautiful introductions is sitting here ready to start, and I can click the share topic button to get my link to put on Google Classroom. See, share to Classroom right away. I could show this QR code if my students are using iPads, or just copy and paste the link in my Google Classroom. Whew. So that's the topic, creating a grid, creating a topic. I'm going to stop for a second, take a breath, and see if you guys have any questions or comments so far. And if you would unmute your microphone and give me those questions or comments, that would be awesome. All right, I'm hearing crickets. I feel like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyone? Anyone? All right, since there's no comments or questions, let's keep going. Let's skip over a tab. Let's go back to your FlipGrid. You'll notice your tabs across the top. We've talked about activities. We talked about my grids. Let's skip Mixtapes for just a second. We will come back to that. I want you to go to Disco Library. So click Disco Library. Why they call it disco, I don't know. It's really Discover Library. What that is teachers, educators across the entire world are sharing their ideas. Don't you just love teachers? I love it when people share things. So that means I may find a topic that's already been created that I can just tweak, like I showed you with the introductions topic, and use with my students. So they feature topics across the top. You'll notice there's almost 8,000 topics available to search from in the library. That's a lot just to scroll. Although, hold on, back to school, getting to know you. Elementary, 3 people have already used it. But you can also search. So you'll notice that you can search by your audience. You can search by your grade bands. You can search by topics. You can search by goals. But since we're almost back to school, and I know y'all don't want to hear that in July, I'm curious about this one. So I'm clicking on the Flip Hunt Back to School Get to Know You. And I see an overview of what the question is, and that is you're getting to know each other, find a new person, record a video, so forth. If I want to use this particular topic, I can select a grid by clicking the drop down arrow over on the right hand side, put it in my PD by the pool example grid, and click add. And then it gives me the option to go through and make any changes that I want to make, and then update the topic. I'm just going to leave it as is for time's sake today because I've already showed you how to do that. So now if I look at my PD by the pool example, I have the Flip Hunt Back to School Get to Know You that I just copied, and I have the introductions. If I decide I want to delete any of those, I click beside of the topic I want to delete, click the button that says Actions over on the right-hand side, and choose Delete Topic. So I'm going to go back to Disco Library, and I want to give you guys just a couple of moments to look through and see what topics you find that are interesting to you. And I will ask that you're going to share that out either by typing in a topic in the chat, or again, unmuting your microphone. Let me know there's really people behind the screen and telling me a topic that you found. Okay, good. Sarah's found one about being a good friend. That would be a great back to school one to do as well. I'm just a Bill, social studies, summer reading, healthcare science. Oh, feeling all emoji traditional. I like that. Yeah, that one's interesting. Love the titles. Back to school, who are you? Book talks with 6-word stories. Thank you, Amy, for including your link to that one. Oh, look, Faith and I were looking at book talks at the same time. Two-step equation story problems, good one. Sometimes it's hard to think about ways to integrate math with things, and letting students explain would be a great way to do that, and this was a great platform. Sometimes if they hear another student explain it, the light bulb goes off, even though that student says exactly the same thing that you've said. It's good to see, though, all of the options that are already there, so you don't have to necessarily start from scratch if you're using FlipGrid for the first time, which all of you are. There's lots of topics that you can take and tweak, and then as you and your students become more comfortable with it, it's easier and easier to come up with your own topics. All right, let's go back to the Mixtapes tab. And you guys won't have any way to do this because you don't have any topics really created yet. But do you remember back in the day, and I'm going to date myself here, when we had cassette tapes and we would take our favorite tunes and make our own playlist on a cassette tape? We were making a mixed tape. The same thing happens with this, except it's digital tapes or digital videos that you're pulling from your grids. So I showed you a grid that I had earlier from Pinnacle called Flip Hunt, which, by the way, was created as a scavenger hunt. So that's another idea you can do with FlipGrids, where they can scavenger hunt whatever. So if you are an elementary teacher, they could scavenger hunt and video themselves next to various shapes. Or if you're an art teacher, they could video themselves next to their artwork and talk about the elements of art that are found in those items. But how you do that is you create a mixtape, and then you just literally pull in the best of or examples that you want to pull together, and it gives you a separate flip code that you can share out for people to see all of those great things that have been created. So that's the mixtape. The next one, the next tab all the way over the end is called #GridPals. And a lot of you have probably heard your ITF talk about, let's get outside your four walls. We want you to have buddy classrooms. We want you to think globally. We want your kids connected, but we also want them to be safe. So this is a tool that provides that opportunity. There are 12,000 grid pals out there for various things. So one of my favorites that happened not this summer, but last summer, a scientist was doing diving off the coast of Texas and Florida in the Gulf, and he was grid paling with students. And the students were able to ask questions, and the scientist was responding back, and it's awesome. It's a great way to connect to others. So by default, because of where I am and where you are, it's showing the United States. Look at all those pluses. Those are all possible grids. So if I zoom out and see the world, so you guys can get an idea of other countries and other possibilities, and this is being extremely slow, you can see that there's lots of pluses, but that's a lot of grids to search. So the easiest way is to use the search tools. So I'm going to choose middle school for this one. And I'm going to select the subject as, let's do ELA, English Language Arts. Now as I scroll down, you will see that it's filtered out for just middle school. Now there's a high school, I don't know why that one's showing up. And possible topics. So I could click on Matt. He's an English teacher in Texas, and he wants to connect with language arts teachers. So you can make connections and do things here. Lots of times there's a link to their particular grid that they want to work with you on. Let's do reading and see if I get an even better one. No links on any of these. So take time though to look at that later and play around with it and see if you find a grid that you want to work with. You can connect with those people and do some global connections and some global learning. And by the way, all of this information is in the presentation. And we talked about favorite ideas. All right, so back to the presentation. There are lots of resources that will help you with your FlipGrid endeavors. Of course, your ITFs would love to help you, would come in and co-teach with you as you're introducing this tool or brainstorm with you ways to use it, help you get one set up, whatever. There are webinars from FlipGrid that I've linked. There's their support page. If you guys are active on Facebook, they have a Facebook group that is absolutely phenomenal. That's the way I knew about the scientists, is through that Facebook group because they posted about that. Twitter, they've got an active hashtag for that, and FlipGrid will answer your questions. You'll also notice on the resources slide that I've got a handout link, FlipGrid emoji reaction guide link, and recording instructions link. So all of that information is there for you to use to get started with FlipGrid.